here's my question. How distracted are you by that light in the corner? Like, is that, my blinds only go so far and it's daylight outside. If I go right there, do you notice it? All right, settle down, class, settle down. So it's been, if you guys want to zoom out, if you want to see the light, it's been a while. That light is gonna bother the heck out of me. I kind of want to zoom it in. Okay, I'm right there, and then I sit back. That's pretty good. All right, it's been a while. So this is semester 2, potential. Now, for full transparency purposes, I thought about it a lot prior to filming this. I said the whole point of the university, number 1, is to give people the key to their escape, the key to your freedom forever within Rat Life University, which is what? It starts with belief and the courage to pursue a single idea that anyone can escape the rat life. Now, we have paperwork to go over. We have topics to discuss. We have transparency to be given. Because I thought about it and I said, if I don't show you the lows during the process and I just sort of keep that to myself, then I don't take you apart on the journey whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? If I just show you a highlight reel, like, on Instagram, then you don't get to see the lows. And if you don't get to see the lows, then you don't get to see, I would say, the character that you need to combat them. And one of my favorite quotes, and I've said it before in this university, that I thought would be perfect to capture the situation that I'm in right now, which is a storm of life, storm in my life, it's from The Count of Monte Cristo, which is my favorite book. It's also an amazing movie with Jim Caviezel, and a young Henry Cavill, mind you. He plays Fernand's son, Albert, and here's the quote. It's given by the good Edmond Dantes, and it says, "Life is a storm, my young friend. You will bask in the sunlight one moment, be shattered on the rocks the next. What makes you a man is what you do when that storm comes. You must look into that storm and shout as you did in Rome. Do your worst, for I will do mine. And the fates will know you as we know you, as Albert the man." So the storm that I'm going through right now, I've said it, I've hinted at it, and I've said it in very great length on my Instagram. But basically I'm under persecution from the most treacherous, devious of serpent snakes. I'm not allowed to discuss the case, so I'm not going to discuss the case. And I wouldn't put it past my opponent, my enemy in this arena, to utilize my YouTube videos. However, what I can do is give context what led up to the position that I'm in right now, which is these accusations filed against me, my counterclaim against them. But essentially, ever since I called this serpent snake out on their abusive behavior, they've been doing everything in their power to try to get me fired. And I've been given these letters of warning to sign, letter after letter. Here's one. Here's another. This is my favorite one, and it's such a gift for this clause. Using your voice in a loud, strong tone. This is my disrespectful conduct. My disrespectful conduct. Use the term gaslighting to categorize your supervisor. Why is that important? It's because of this expectation, this caveat, is failure to demonstrate immediate and sustained improvement in these areas may result in further disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. What does that mean? It means if I continue to vocalize the abuse of this serpent, I am given grounds for termination of employment. What does the reverse mean? If I don't vocalize the abuse and I choose to stand idle, then I'm subject to the abuse. Do you understand? And the last one, in my current position right now, I got placed on paid administrative leave. So it is a battle, but it is a spiritual battle. And I referenced that quote to start this lecture before we get into law number 13 within the 48 Laws of Power, because I want that quote to echo within your mind for whatever storm of life you're going through. You have to be that man in the arena that says, do your worst, for I will do mine. Do you understand? And the beauty about it is this, and we learned it from Meditations from Marcus Aurelius, which I have right here. And this is what has given me the most, aside from God, this is what's given me the second most solace going through this storm, is this book, Meditations, which I would highly recommend, by Marcus Aurelius. because there's a single idea in it. A single idea, and I want to bridge this before we get into this book. It all ties in. It's all for your benefit to listen. So shut the hell up and listen. Everything that you're going through is required by your nature's design. Every circumstance, every condition, every event, every person, interaction, however insignificant it may seem, is required for your story, for your journey, for your benefit, for your greatest good, your highest good. Okay. So in the book, he talks about viewing everything you're going through as an assignment, my required assignment. And in the start of January, when I was at the peak of misery and hating every day and not knowing how I was going to get through the next 24 hours because I knew I was going into an office to be subject to harassment and bullying and manipulation, attempted manipulation and abuse and all this garbage from these fucking idiots, right? That was the one thing that was giving me solace every day, was this is my required assignment. And I know that once God sees me fit to be removed from this, I will be. And sure enough, January 8th, when I was given that letter by my HR director, I had to hold back a smile when she said, you are being placed on paid administrative leave. And because her and I have had honest, godly conversations. And so there was another awesome guy, his name is Sergio, who's in the room. And I had to hold back because right now I'm on paid vacation. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the great irony of all this, is the person thinking they're doing you, the biggest, like actually wanting the worst for you, like to be homeless, to be jobless, to be, full of persecution, to be publicly humiliated, your reputation slandered, all these things. And meanwhile, I've never felt more well-rested. I've never felt more healed. I've never felt more focused on the work that I'm going to be doing. Have been given so much time. This past, what is this, week 3 now? You know what I'm saying? You're just paid every day. So you have to look at the good and the bad. And the other reason that I want to preface this lecture with that is a lot of people think that the worst case scenario is getting fired, is losing their job. It's like the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, because you take things to zero and you're just like, how am I going to pay for rent? How am I going to support my, family, if you have one? How am I going to pay for my bills? How am I going to, and you go worst case scenario, worst case scenario, worst case scenario. But what I love about this book, and it changed my entire perception of my life, is what if this is happening for me? How is this happening for me, right? And so now I'm just viewing this as a transition, because you have to understand a single idea of the life that you want, a life of betterment, prosperity, growth, right? The life that you want is going to cost you your old life, okay? If I want this, that means this is forfeited. And the beauty about how God and the universe works is they can make this come about in a million different ways. So understanding that what you're going through, what if it's exactly what you said that you wanted, right? I want to be free forever. God is giving you the freedom. And this just happens to be the way that it's unfolding in real time, right? Is this beautiful persecution process. And so it's fascinating for so many reasons. And then now I can tie it into the 48 Laws of Power. The reason that this book is so important is not so you can implore the manipulations within the book yourself, but it's so you can be so equipped to combat the serpents and snakes within your life when they try to implore the manipulation on you. Because you're doing what we talked about within Jim Rohn's books. You're standing guard at the doorway of your mind. The perfect quote that everyone, and this was a previous homework assignment, to memorize, to commit to your memory and then to your habitual actions and then eventually to your character. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. What does that mean? My unmatched perspicacity, my unmatched ability to perceive. I'm not asleep. I'll play the fool, right? I'll play the oblivious. I'll play the, my title, which in this job presently is executive assistant, that he just doesn't know any better. And so you give these people the illusion that they're pulling the wool over your eyes, that they're smarter than you, that they're, just so cunning, when in reality, the level of stupidity is so omnipresent, you're just like you know that when you're going into the arena, you're combating fucking children. And it'll be a 1 versus 2, it'll be a 1 versus 3. In my work, it's like 1 versus 8, right? And you think you're so, or they think, the enemy thinks you're so outnumbered and outsmarted and outwitted, when in reality is they're playing checkers and you're playing chess. And you could play, if you've ever seen the video of Magnus Carlsen, and he plays blindfolded, and he's just calling out, rook c2, like just calling out his moves. That is the gift that you give yourself if you equip yourself with these laws. And that quote, my unmatched perspicacity, coupled with sheer indefatigability, as in, I said it during my HR meeting when I asked my boss, and I said this in the semester 2 video potential. I said, given your expertise, how long do you think I have until I get, notice that I'm getting fired? And she said, January. Like, when that process, you can expect that, given this person's relentless, ceaseless pursuit of trying to do away with you, January something could happen, right? I said, I'm not quitting. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm not giving up. I refuse to let this person sort of defeat me in that sense. And don't get me wrong, it was so crushing going to that office every day, because you're bowing your head and bending the knee to just a serpent snake. However, indefatigable, as in people within the rat life, they have no idea what real stress is. They have no idea what real problems, real adversity is. Their stresses are fucking made up. They're playing with monopoly money. They're government funded. They get millions of dollars in grants. It's all made up titles. It's all made up authority and positions. It's an illusion. And you're surrounded by cowards, and you're surrounded by serpents, and you're surrounded by snakes who think they're smarter than they are, who have unparalleled arrogance, who have not a shred of humility, who don't operate with integrity or morality. And so that is who you're with every single day. And so they have no idea what it means to be indefatigable. They have no idea what it means to go against a man in the arena who has nothing to lose. You can't beat someone like that. And so these people, they're coming at you. You guys haven't played the game World of Warcraft, but they're coming at you as little challengers, little peasants, and they're coming at a seasoned gladiator. Anybody who's played that game, they'd appreciate that reference. Not that I was 7-time gladiator or anything. Anyway, so I wanted to give you my current position that I'm in right now. Is I'm currently undergoing this persecution. I'm currently under investigation. I'm currently under a paid leave of absence, anticipating being on paid leave until like March, when I imagine this investigation might be over, and then I will share with you guys the verdict. Unless I have to, sign like an NDA and then I just get a settlement check or something. But I'll let you guys know what happens. But in the efforts and in the interest of full transparency, I thought that was very, very important. Because if I just share with you guys, highlights and pretend like everything is happy-go-lucky, which I don't think it's terrible right now. I'm not in a defeated mental state whatsoever. I know that I've done everything that I can on my side, and so I know that it's up to God. The rest is up to God. And it's such a relieving feeling when you surrender. I learned it from Bashar, he's like a manifestor guy. His name's not Bashar. It's the guy that he channels. And Bashar said, surrendering isn't giving up control. And that's a lesson that I've had to learn the hard way over and over and over. The idea that letting go is me giving up, is me quitting. When in reality, it allows you to go with the flow of life. Because people think life is this way, that if the thing that I want, I have to get it in this fashion, in this sequence, in this time frame, but by me doing this action, they need to respond this. When reality is, life is, it's a flow. And if you've ever been in that harmonious state of presence, I get this the most when I travel, particularly when I solo travel. And every day is so beautiful because it just unfolds in a magical way. As in, you're not on a timeline, you're not rushed, you're present, and you're just open to the possibility of surprises, of excitement, of, new, of adventure, of, and you have completely let go of the outcome, that I need to be here at this time, I need to, and you just allow the magic of life to unfold. That's the position I'm in right now, with surrendering it all to God and to the unfolding of fate's design, right? The threads talks about in this book, that have already been woven. You know what I'm saying? That it was written since the beginning. It is written. There's another book. But with that said, I think that's a good preface for today's lecture. So, we are on law number 13. Quick recap. Number 1, never outshine the master. Number 2, and I made that mistake by just being myself. Number 2, never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. 3, conceal your intentions. 4, always say less than necessary, which is very powerful, particularly when you're working with a serpent snake. 5, so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. And with the position that I'm in right now, it's so important because within this investigation, they're talking to other people. Something that the person who began this against me, and this fight, did not fully anticipate, is the power of other people vouching for me. Very, very underestimated gift. And that has only been solidified and cemented by my reputation, by me taking pride within my name, my last name, my character, with my actions and what I say and what I do. You know what I'm saying? 6, court attention at all costs. 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Again, what we discussed, don't do the serpentry, but that's something that I know a serpent who does. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. 9, that was 8. 9, win through your actions, never through argument. 10, infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. And that was something that the serpent who I've been subject to, towards the end here, I didn't need them anymore. You know what I'm saying? They weren't a mentor. They weren't teaching me anything. All they were doing was manipulation. All they were doing was deception. All they were doing was all these snake-like maneuvers. And when you're not reliant on them or dependent on them in any way, that facade of who the actual leader is between two people falls to the wayside. 12, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victims. And now number 13, when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is semester 2. I have never started something and not finished it. So when I said I'm going to be doing all of these, we're going to be doing all of these. So right now we are on number 13. And I finished my reading of it today and my transcription, which is just this, is when I write it down. And you'll notice that I ran out of lovely black ink, so it's pink. I don't have to read it. Here we go. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Welcome to class. Here we go. If you need to turn to an ally for help, do not bother to remind him of your past assistance and good deeds. He will find a way to ignore you. Instead, uncover something in your request or in your alliance with him that will benefit him and emphasize it out in all proportion. He will respond enthusiastically when he sees something to be gained for himself. Understand this. There's a scene from Lord of the Rings where it's like, things have been set in motion that cannot be undone. No, understand this. We learned this in the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And what he says in it is, nobody gives a shit about you. Now, a nice way to put it is nobody cares about your self-interests just as much as you don't really care about other people's self-interests or goals, because you have your own. You have wants, you have desires, you have needs that you're trying to meet, satisfy, fulfill, right? And people make this mistake all the time. I made this mistake all the time in sales, where I would be trying to insist to the other person how it would benefit me. And Robert Greene, at the end of these, he does a reversal if it works in the other way. And one of the reversals that he insists upon in this law is it can work from a charitable perspective. Some people who just want to give. I remember when I needed to produce sales of pre-workout, when my rent was on the line and homelessness was threatening. And some people, that appeal to them because they're like, we don't want to see you a homeless wretch. So here, I'll buy some pre-workout even though I don't use it, don't need it, don't want it, right? So you can gain sales or whatever it is that you want from appealing to your self-interest to others, because they gain out of it. Because for those people, they feel good by helping other people. You know what I'm saying? But even though that's a common thing, that's one of the human needs is contribution. Everyone elicits oxytocin by doing something for someone else that requires time, energy, effort, thought, care, consideration when they're not in the room, right? Not talking about that. What I'm talking about is most people, what do they want? What's in their own self-interest, what's in the best interest for them, how they can advance their cause, how they can reach their goals, right? What saves them money, right? What makes their life easier. They don't give a shit about what you want. They don't trust you, Frank. That's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You're ugly.
But you need me. People don't trust you, Frank. You're a piece of shit. And you're ugly. And you ooze sleaze. And you're very, very ugly. All right.
But it's very important to keep in mind. And in this book, they go through people who they wanted to get the, not patronage, but like the business of, a guy. And he goes into the interaction not saying what he wants whatsoever, but just playing on what that guy, it's an ego game, you know what I'm saying? So you appeal to their interests, what they want, what they've done, their achievements, and it's like buttering them up. Was that movie? That was like, he's honeypotting you, because there's I won't get into it. Is it honeypotting? I think that's what it is. So good. But that's the idea, is people love to talk about themselves. They love to talk about, what they've had to overcome, what they've achieved. And you can use even things like the sound of their own name. Like there's so many things that you can do when trying to win the attention. And this is what they say in the book. You can win the attention of the most sought after by using specific praise and recognition. And that goes because everybody loves to feel appreciated, loves to feel seen, heard, valued, significant, important, right? Like they matter. So you can play on all of those appeals. So I hope that I've laid the foundation of this law and the importance of foregoing your self-interest. Like it's having that in the forefront of your mind, knowing your outcome, what it is that you want, but not vocalizing it to the other person, because you understand that's going to fall on deaf ears because they don't care. And why should they, right? Everything that everyone is doing is within their own self-interest, how they can continue their survival within this game of life. Quote, I really like this quote, so I wrote it down. What the Corinthian ambassador did not realize was that his reference to Corinth's past generosity to Athens only irritated the Athenians, subtly asking them to feel guilty and putting them under obligation. And what this reminded me of is when I was at rock bottom, which was May 21st, 2023 at EDC. And I didn't vocalize it to a girl who used to be my best friend, but it blew my mind, the idea of how short-sighted some people can be. And all I could think about was past generosities that I had given to this person, like coached them out of their abusive relationship, taught them financial literacy, got them into the best shape of their life, like just transformed their life in and out of the gym from A to Z. And the amount of disrespect that was imparted on me by this person was unfathomable to me at the time. Like I couldn't understand it. I could understand how short-sighted someone could be to the past. But I didn't take it a step further, and I didn't vocalize any of those things to that person, because all I did was just take it at face value. When somebody shows me their cards, and I get this all the time with honesty from rejection from girls, where they'll send me, an essay or something of a paragraph, and a lot of it is emotional projection from them, and so I don't take it personally. And what it does is it exposes their true feelings, or their true emotional and mental capacity where they are at the time. And so I've gotten the criticism and the disrespect and all these from people, and it's not even worth the time of day to replying, because none of the things that people are saying is a reflection of myself or my character. And you have to understand that. It's from the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, that we also went over, is don't take things personally. A lot of times when somebody is telling a story, it's the story that they have to tell themselves. A lot of times when people are, giving you rejection or giving you objection, or just trying to, throw mud or dirt on your name, understand that their actions and their vocalizations is a reflection of their character and not your own. So that's very important, and that's why I really like this, is you don't even feel the need, you shouldn't feel the need to go and lean on to try to, really bring your argument home, what you've done for this person, the love that you've given them, the respect that you've imparted on them. Because I've made that, not mistake, it's not a mistake, but I've learned that lesson time and time again where I'll give people nothing but love, nothing but, courtesy, nothing but consideration. And then it has always upset me when it'll be met with their bleeding, their lack of healing. And so I love the quote, if you don't tend to your wounds, you'll bleed on someone who didn't cut you. And I have always questioned to God whether or not I should continue to give love to people, because I have a plethora of history of people just, despite all the love that I give and give and give, being met with so much anger and hatred and this. And I understand the why behind it, because when you invite the idea that someone is so effortless and easy to love unconditionally, and they don't believe that they're worthy or deserving of that, they hate you for exposing that belief within them. And so I understand it from a cognitive perspective, but it doesn't make it any easier, or it doesn't help me whatsoever when I'm on the other end of all the bleeding, if that makes sense. So, but there was a quote that I saw a very long time ago by someone who would record vines when that was a thing, and they said, always choose love, no matter how hard it is, it's worth it. And so that's something that I align with, is just, I'm going to choose to be consistent within my actions with my character of who I am, of what I stand behind, which is just to be a good, loving person. So important. Did we wrap that up? Yes. So we'll go on to the next bullet point. Here we go. People rarely act against their own self-interest. It's very true. You know what I'm saying? If you do something, or if you can communicate to someone how this is in their best interest, how they're going to save money, they're going to save time, it's going to make their life easier, you'll find the path to least resistance. The problem is when you play on your own objectives and your own goals and your own, desires. And I saw this in a great video. It was by this multi-millionaire. He said the way that you really motivate and inspire and lead your team is you show them how within your vision they can reach and attain their goals. So then you don't have to motivate them whatsoever. It's just you'll be able to show them and communicate that it's in their best interest to pursue and help build your vision, your dream, because in the pursuit of that, they reach their goals in that process. So, path of least resistance. Next, there is an art to asking for help / getting what you want, i.e. understanding people don't care / aren't interested in what you want. Their interest lies solely within themselves and how they may benefit. Very true for the ideas that we've discussed. Next, big quote. Self-interest is the lever that will move people. Once you make them see how you can in some way meet their needs or advance their cause, their resistance, everything that I just said, to your requests for help will magically fall away. At each step on the way to acquiring power, you must train yourself to think your way inside the other person's mind, to see their needs, desires, interests, and I would also add to that, to see their insecurities, to see where their ego stands. All of those things are important to see how to play to their character, their desires, however selfish that they may be. To get rid of the screen of your own feelings, desires, and goals, master this art, and there will be no limits to what you can accomplish. So it's all an ego game. That's all it is you're playing to the other person's pride often. You're playing to the other person's fear and insecurities often. You're playing to their greed often. And so it's understanding who you're competing against, or who you're trying to, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but get them to do what you want them to do to begin with. And when you understand that, then you can play the game of getting everything that you want within that. And that's from the book, I want to say, See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. If you can get other people, you can have everything that you want if you can help other people get everything that they want. So that's the game, is you're trying to figure out what the other person wants, knowing that's the first thing, knowing what it is that they want, and then helping them get that. And then in the pursuit of that, you get everything that you want by default. But you never vocalize that part. That's the key. Shut the hell up. Keep it to yourself what it is that you want, but know your outcome. And that goes for relationships, that goes for sales, business, that goes for everything. What is it that you want? from the notebook. What do you want? What do you want? It's not that easy. It's not that simple. Next, we learned this in How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was a note to myself. Finally, to end, the shortest and best way to make your fortune is to let people see clearly that it is in their interests to promote yours. Very good. So that is law number 13, which is when asking for help, people appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Cool. So we have, and I was thinking of the Willy Wonka quote, we have so little to do and so much time to do it. Stop, reverse it. We have so much to do and so little time. We are on a timeline here. So today is February 2nd. We have precisely 17 weeks. 17 weeks to complete what needs to be completed, which includes the transformation of a lifetime, which includes getting these laws done, which includes advancing this noble cause, this quest, this university of rat life, and escaping it. Because you have to understand, if you think there's a world where I'm going back to that serpent snake den after I've been liberated from it, there's no world where that happens. So I've already won. Do you understand? And you have to view it as that. Everything that you're going through right now is in your best interest, is happening for your highest good. And the beauty about that is not to pull out every book that we've discussed and you see how they all complement each other, but it's in from As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. As you think, so it is. If you believe something is happening for this reason, it is. If you believe this is happening against you, it is. So if I choose right now to go down this path, that the life that's unfolding before me is happening for my highest good, my best interest, then it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then magically, I'll be living my dream life. Why? Because I'm utilizing all of this and alchemizing all of it. I'm transmuting everything that's happening as things that are happening for me, and then just following that flow, right? Not resisting what's happening in life, because everyone's default is this is happening to me. This is happening against me. This is happening to my detriment. You fall into that victim narrative, that victim mentality, right? But what if you didn't respond immediately and react immediately and put a negative connotation on the circumstances and events of life, but you just stood there for a second, and I learned this from Bashar, again, the guy who, I don't know his actual name. He channels Bashar, and he says, the 3 mantras that I want you to memorize in this life are, so what? Who cares? And then, that's interesting. And that was the thing that I said when I was going through this event. I was just like, that's interesting. And that's exactly the way to do it. Why? Immediately, what do people do? They react, right? Here's a storm of life. I'm going to react. What if this is the catalyst, the foundation, to give you the life that you've dreamed of, to give you freedom forever, to have you in just a short amount of time, not that I'm alluding to anything, you living out your dream life, right? What if you just said, and you allowed yourself to go with the flow? You didn't fight, you didn't resist, you didn't combat, and you just let the beauty and magic of your life unfold. Where would you be? Who would you be? All right, with that, my name is Tarek Haux. This is Rat Life University, and that's law number 13, the 48 Laws of Power. Buckle up. You're going to be very fascinated by the frequency of these laws. We're not going to waste any time here. And what is rat life? It's a single idea that anyone can escape. Anyone can escape the rat life. You're not going to know how, right? But you got to understand how is none of your business. Could it be in the form of persecution? It could be. Could it be in the form of these letters of warning with caveat, failure to demonstrate improved and immediate action of your disrespectful conduct, such as identifying the disrespectful conduct of another person, right? Could and will result in further disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment? It's possible. That could be exactly how you get liberated, how you escape your rat life. And so it's understanding what it is that you want and letting go of the how, and understanding that we can all live free, right? We can all look into the storm of life and shout, do your worst, for I will do mine, right? And the rat life to finish is it starts with belief and the courage to pursue. So if this happens, the only thing you have to ask yourself is, what are you going to do about it? See you next time.